Well, and I think, at least for me, this might feel like a little bit on the lower end in terms of excitement for some of you. But I thought the coolest thing that we saw, and he can hear us now. That's Primal. If you want to talk about this too, is Nico's help early on the Vayne. That was sick. Crazy cool decision making. Walk us through what made you decide to do that in that lobby, because we were both saying it affected the entire lobby. The whole lobby didn't react correctly, and you won that pretty handily.
Yeah, honestly, when I made that decision, I was like 50% sure it was a huge grief and I was throwing the game. But yeah, I've been seeing Cybers a lot over the last 48 hours. I haven't played it enough to feel like an expert on it, but every time I saw people running Vayne, she felt super strong just from a combination of her safety and pretty high damage output when you put on snipers. So I figured Vayne is almost good, if not as good as Aurelia, actually. So it kind of felt like, okay, well, this is a unit, but I kind of consider a 4 cost and level of power. So if I make an item on her right now, so I was able to make an IE and I upgrade her, I'm pretty sure I'll confidently win streak through stage 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And then later in the game, I mean, other people are going to be able to hit 5 costs and stuff, but I can accrue enough of a HP and gold advantage that it won't matter. So yeah, that was the
Mhm.
rationale. But dude, at the time, I told my stream too. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is like me maybe throwing the game, but fuck it, let's try it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it worked out so well. I believe you're like 73 HP, at the later stages of the game, people are like 20 HP or something. So your rationale worked out exactly as you had planned. Did you come into today, being like you said you're not a cybers expert? Did you come into today thinking that you're going to play all cybers, or were you open to maybe playing other compositions if you got good starts for them?
Yeah, I totally came in intending to just be flexible and just play strongest board
Mhm.
and play off of whatever forecast I get. I think the thing with Cybers though is it's such a good like fallback comp now
Yeah.
because with the addition of Vayne, you can get 6 Cybers at level 6, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
And you actually don't even really need Echo until very late in the game. And I think Echo's kind of a first place condition, but he's not a top 4 condition at all. So when generally speaking, if I don't have clear direction, I think Cybers is a really nice fallback, which I like personally because it encourages flexibility and it doesn't punish you for slamming a bunch of items later because pretty much everything works in Cybers. But
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
the plan was not to go Cybers.
But I mean, you did, and it ends up working out, but just barely. One final question before I pass it on back to Boop. When you went eighth place in game number 4, what was going through your minds? Like you knew that you probably needed a good position there to solidify yourself as first, but yeah, just walk us through that. Maybe roller coaster emotions for you. I don't know. What were you feeling?
Yeah, I was riding pretty high after the 2-1-1. And
Yeah.
then dude, I don't know. I think my brain honestly just turned off and I was just not super locked in for that last game. I thought I needed a top 4 to secure first, so I definitely was
Yeah.
not like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." And I just want to win every game anyway. But I just sort of had trouble assembling like a strong enough board, honestly, through
Yeah.
stage 2 and 3, and it started bleeding out. I think it started to fall apart where I usually like to pre-level to 5 at I think a 2-4 or whatever that stage is right after the
Yeah.
first carousel. And when I did that, I lost, and then my econ was boom. And then I was like, okay, well, we're probably already playing for top 4. And then I kept bleeding out, and even then I rolled, and I kept bleeding out. So I think I was missing something fundamental there that I have to go back and review. But I was like, dude, like I this my issue has always been I have extremes. Like I'm a very momentum based player. So I was like, okay, I'm glad this eighth hit me at the end, not the beginning, because I'm pretty sure if I taken the eighth at the beginning, it would have been eighth the whole way through. So
Yeah, we might not be talking to you right now.
yeah.
But it's so funny. You actually remind me a lot of me, because I'm world famous in my circle of friends of killing it up until the very end. I'm like so good at tripping at the finish line. It's almost a talent. So I definitely feel you on that one. So just generally, now that we talked about the game a little bit, how do you feel about the set so far? It obviously is a little bit friendly to you outside of that last lobby. Vayne doing pretty good. Bard seems to be a little bit underwhelming. Just in general, how do you feel about the set if you were to give it like a little one paragraph review?
Yeah. So I think as of the mid set update, it's now my favorite set.
Nice.
I was getting a little frustrated with just the hyper roll dominance before the mid set update. And I think the difference between this set and prior sets is that in prior sets they had a different champion release cadence, right? So they had been
Yeah.
introducing new champions in the pool and diluting the pool pretty much after like the first 2 weeks or so. Whereas with this one, because they did a big expansion mid set, which is not the wrong decision,
Hmm.
we ended up having a hyper roll dominant meta for so long. So I personally dislike hyper roll. It's not something I'm good at, and I get really frustrated when I'm like trying to play flexibly, and then someone else is just like, me shredder at the beginning of the game before anything like anyone's ever even gotten items, and then they do
Uh-huh.
well. So I think now there's a lot of viable carries. Like there's a lot of options you can do mid game. Like you can play really flexibly and get rewarded for it. Um, I never really feel like there's something I couldn't have done better in a game. So overall, I like it. We'll see what happens when the meta's a little bit more solved, but it feels really good right now.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with a lot of those points there. But a question that I do have for you is obviously we don't see that many, one cost hyper roll compositions, but we did see at the end there that almost took the lobby was a Blade Master reroll compositions. Do you think that that comp is viable? Do you think that was a high roll scenario of it, or do you think that any other reroll compositions could be viable jumping into this mid set?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely viable because I'll note that he didn't actually hit Z3 until near the end of the game.
Yeah.
So that was a Z2 carry actually for a long time. And he actually might have been low rolling and he still did
Mm,
well. In hindsight, I actually had a good setup for that same comp, but I wasn't comfortable running it. I think I should have
Mm.
tried it
mm.
anyway, given how successful it was. So I'm going to be trying that in the next few days. Also, maybe Protector reroll is good with like cast carry,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It seems like ASOL right now is just by far the most important protector unit. I guess he's officially a protector now with the way people are playing him. So I feel like when you're running protector, you just have to hit ASOL. So you probably
Yeah.
shouldn't reroll. So I'm not sure what other reroll comps there could be. I'm hoping none. I'm so tired of reroll.
Yeah.
But we'll see what people find.
Yo, reroll is so fun for us plebs, man. Who does it? I love pressing that button. But I know where you guys are coming from. Don't worry. One last thing, I think for me is in terms of just like as a player, right? One of the most entertaining things I saw was once that you got the Shroud of Stillness and the Hextech Gunblade on Galactic Armory, and then you started with all spatulas for
Yeah.
for that carousel, and that was just a race to protect your ASOL, which ended up happening as our winner did get it. But in that situation, when you see the spat, are you like, oh yeah, it's going to be harder? I got to think about all this stuff. I'm in it, or is that a little bit more challenging for your type of play style to kind of adjust to, since so much decision making gets made so much earlier when something like that happens?
Yeah, it's not great for me. Just because basically what happens when you have spat is because spat is only really strong in like two different comps in my opinion. It's like protector spat because of Aurelian Soul, and then infiltrator spat on Aurelia. Every other build path feels a little bit weaker by default, right? Because spat
Mm,
is just you're just not going to get as much value as someone who's running one of those two comps. But the way I try to look at it is okay, because I know that my opponent knows that they're probably going to be contesting super hard. So I can probably play something that's less contested and just hit my units more reliably and make up for the difference in spat value. And then of course you always just hope that you can get a fawn, right? There was an
mhm.
opportunity to get a fawn that I think I could have gotten it, but I just decided I really wanted infiltrator actually, which might have been the wrong call. I'm not sure. But yeah, I personally don't love it when it's early spat, but I don't think it's like wrong for the game. It's just not my style.
Mm.
And I actually like Galactic Armory when it's non-comp specific items like that. Like Gunblade Shroud is used. You can use that in everything. I think Galactic Armory is more difficult for me to play around when it's sort of like a spat where you get like, IE Rudons and everyone's trying to run Jin or Jinx.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's some very good insight. And I think that will about wrap it up for us here tonight. Thank you and congratulations again. That's Primal. Do you have any final words and where can we find you on social media and things like that? And yeah, do you have any shout outs?
Cool. So thanks for letting me participate in this. This was super fun, and I'm hoping to bring these results into the TL qualifiers as well because I really want to make it to TFT Worlds. But a little bit of a pipe dream right now. You guys can find me on Twitch. I'm streaming right now, but I'm about to log off after this. Twitch.tv/thatsPRIMAL, and it's thatsPRIMAL everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff.
All right. Very cool. Congrats again. We'll be seeing you next week here on Fight Night Rising. And of course, good luck in the TL qualifiers. Maybe I will see you there as well. Going to be trying to figure out, a lot of the set myself. But yeah, have a good night. Congrats again. And we'll see you next time.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. See ya.